Let me get it. You're late. Hi.
For the last ever, I've been the one teaching all the acting classes at all the haunted houses I've ever done. And I've always led in a very focused way to teach movement for the actor. It specifically pairs up with what we're trying to do with haunted houses. So of course I've studied other people and I've watched others, but I was always wildly fascinated by the technique of Doug Jones.
Are you with me?
And so without telling anyone else in my company, I had secret little conversations with Doug's agent.
And that was all I needed.
Doug loves the idea. He'd love to come out and do it.
Tickle, tickle.
Doug Jones. Welcome to HellsGate Haunted House.
And I do feel welcome. You've made me very welcome.
Well, hey you. There's so much psychology to all of this.
Yes.
Here's what's fascinating me is that I've gone through a lot already and we haven't hit the house yet.
I haven't even found the house yet.
Oh my gosh. So it's obvious that they know where they're supposed to go.
Yes. Not too obvious. You don't want to be too comfortable. You want to create the illusion that it is up to them to find their way through this.
So much story here. As an actor, it's a playground. It's a huge sandbox they can do this in, right? And the different types of scares that were in there, from the subtle to the brash in your face. Oh, yeah, okay, that's the one.
Good boy, Timmy, good boy. All of this is just the place the actors work. It is not a show until the actors are here. They are the show.
Doug Jones! Doug Jones! I didn't know who it was at first, and he's like, you're gonna wanna be here. Then I figured out who it was, and I was like, skirt over onto HellsGate.
I mean, I would imagine every single person behind me, you know, imagines when they're figuring out how to move in their character.
I was actually looking at his IMDb on the way in, just 174 film credits. Dude's been in everything.
He is my idol. He is the reason I got into wanting to be a monster and not a person.
Welcome to HellsGate 2023's first class! Please give a warm Zombie Army welcome to Doug Jones!
Well, good night. I don't know how you follow that up. My gosh, thank you. When I got this call about talking to actors at a haunted house, I thought, oh, that'll be a cute little thing. This is huge. Oh my gosh. I had no idea how big of a world this is and how privileged you guys are to be part of something so ginormous. We do the same thing, you and I. We're in the same family, really. We create dreams and escape and magic and memories for our audience.
The world I thought I was going to be entering when I got to Hollywood. I thought I'm going to follow in all those footsteps that came before me of goofy people. Dick Van Dyke, I loved Barney Fife with all my heart on the Mayberry Show. Little did I know that with a 6'3" frame and 140 pounds, that with a mime background. I was trained in mime in college. Being aware of my physicality, being tall and skinny, I did not realize that creature effects makeup artists, when they would find me and be like,
oh, here he is, right?
How do you physically prepare and mentally prepare? You know, especially if it's a role that you're not going to get a lot of words out. What is that mental preparation and that physical preparation like?
Right. Well, again, for me, it starts with a script for me. And even though you may not have a written script that's 100 and some pages long for what your actors are doing here, they do still have to prepare with a script somehow, right? What is my purpose here? What is my part of this story?
Am I a hybrid of animal, man, mutant? Am I something from outer space? Am I something from the depths below?
And from that, I then will have a sit down with my director to get notes, nuances, idiosyncrasies that person wants to see out of me and out of this character.
Then from there, I'll go into a dance studio or a 24-hour fitness at 2 in the morning when the classes are done. So I've got a big wooden floor and mirrors, and I can be like, okay, just me, a guy in a t-shirt and shorts going, okay, where do we start? What's going to work for me? Is he asymmetrical? Is he totally symmetrical? Is he what? And by the way, if you're at a 24-hour fitness, the weight room is also open 24 hours. So many a time I've had some big buff guy go, and looks over and go, because I'm in there going, you know. The next step of the process for me is if I'm playing something otherworldly and creature-like, that will come with a look that has to be slipped on, zipped up, glued on, painted on, something. And that's the key, too, is you don't want to play this as though you are a person that just got into this today. You want to play this as though you were born this way, and this is how you have lived your whole life, right?
And if I'm playing just a person in something, which I'm doing more of now than ever, I find that human still needs his own posture, his own walk, his own gait, his own gestures, his own facial expression. So we say so much more visually than we do verbally. Yeah. We really do. If you're the conversation we have right now with the same words and different visuals would have to take on a completely different meaning and a different story, right?
If I'm hunched over like this,
yeah, right.
So many different things.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, camera guys. I know. No one's supposed to lean forward here.
Or sitting back like this, not involved.
The human being has this thing, you know, we have this wiring where we judge everybody we see in less than 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, as humans, we're trying not to be judgmental.
Right.
But our programming is we make a judgment in less than a second. So in a haunted house environment of chaos and craziness.
So this has to read right off the bat.
In half a second.
Yeah.
I would like volunteers. Now I have a little game I want to play with you that will incorporate something different than just movement. Little short lines of dialogue. What I want you to do is to do each line of dialogue 3 times. 3 different ways.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there!
Don't go in there!
I did that. I did that. I did that.
Walk to that corner just as yourself. I want you to come back with something different. Ah, okay. That's what I'm... Yes, yes. Yes! Well, that was gorgeous. Thank you so much. But again, exploring your possibilities is the whole point of an exercise like that. And when you go through rehearsals here in the coming weeks for showtime, explore your possibilities.
Each character you play is such an investment, right? Even the one scene cameo, you know, bad guys that come in and go, and go back out, you have to put something, you have to know them, understand them, love them to play them right, I think. I have so many favorites over 37 years of acting because they brought out something or added something to me different. Each one of them had a different ecosystem story, psychology that I could learn from or put into.
Anyone see the movie Legion? Yes. Right, I was the ice cream man in that. I come out of an ice cream truck looking semi-normal, well, as normal as this can look. And then at some point, once I hear a sound, I think it was Tyrese Gibson who said, oh, he ain't that much. And then I go, instead of coming straight at them, you know, this way or this way, I had options. I chose to kind of cock him a little to the side and do like a side kind of thing, which is a bit more disturbing, I felt, because you're aimed that way, but you're coming that way.
Silver Surfer, he brought out the stoic heroic in me that I had, because I'm a very talk with your hand, like, the facial expression person, that when you're playing a character that is so confident, right? It's all said here and here.
I was doing like a very arch-backed sort of posture. I worked off the artwork from the comic books. Everything that he did on that surfboard was just beautiful to watch, right? In print form. So I wanted to take those poses and connect them somehow with moving from one pose to the next. It's the only time I've ever had a movement coach because I was not confident as the surfer just yet. I tend to want to stand like this with my what little butt I have to push it out, right? He coached me to tuck that in. But when you tuck it in and picture a string coming out of the top of your head, just give you the best posture imaginable.
And he didn't have to push his story out. He didn't have to sell it to you. It just was.
Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies. Fish-man, hybrid, mutant sort of thing. So I wanted to keep him human, but add some fish to him, right? So I had some goldfish in a tank in my home office because I liked watching them go swim around, and they were so calm, you know. But their heads were curious. So their heads were like, you know, bup, 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 with this going behind, right? So I thought, well, let's make that Abe then. Very dignified. The script told me that he read 3 books at a time and listens to classical music, so he's very intelligent. So I wanted to keep all that physical with him too. The head and face was made. They got that on to see how that fit and how that looked and how that balanced with the rest of my body. And then they had the hands. So it's just the head and those hands with the webbed fingers in them, right? So they had a big, wide, full-length mirror at the creature shop. And I'm trying this in the mirror with the head and the hands and I hear, that, I like that, keep doing that. It was Guillermo del Toro. Pan's Labyrinth. As the movie progresses, the Faun ages backward. So he starts off with some life sucked out of him and a little bit more decrepit. So I had some work to do keeping track of what day are we on, what scene are we on, what happened before, after that, where are we, right? But Guillermo gave me a note. He said, look at farm animals, cows, goats, right, sheep. Look at their hind quarter, right? He told me to do this. Go look at a cow's ass. You'll learn everything you need to know. So he said he wanted me to take note of how their hoofs meet the ground, how they disperse their weight, how they shake off flies, right? And so a couple times he goes like that, right? And then the Pale Man. He was rather interesting because we shot that all in 1 week. The rest of the shoot was about the Faun. So my focus was on the Faun. Had no idea that it was going to end up on magazine covers and YouTube spoofs and Saturday Night Live sketches. You know, I mean, it was everywhere. The first thing we shot was the end of it, where I've eaten a couple of the fairies that are flying around, and I'm now chasing her down a long hallway. Notes that I remember Guillermo giving me about the Pale Man was that he was disjointed and fluid and rubbery and just like, bleh. No eyes in my head, just eyeballs in my hands, right? So I'm kind of putting these out here and there. And that was like, I thought that was kind of scary. Well, Guillermo, after the first take, said, Dougie, no, too much, much less like a George Romero zombie. Oh. So I didn't walk down the hallway this way the whole time, right? But he took a step or two like this, and then would do one of these, right? And then, yes, I'm on the right path. And then this, right?
Do you have advice for actors who maybe have trouble dropping their physicality after a performance?
But it may be too late for her. It is something that, you know, I'm always working with the actors here, and they're like, I'm still stuck. What is your clearing and then reloading to make that quick of a change? Because you've done this back to back on film days, right? One night you were one, and the next night you're another.
So the luxury I have is that makeup has to come off. It might take 2 hours to get it on. To get the next one back on again takes 4 or 6 hours, right? So I have a time span where I see the one character disappearing one layer at a time.
Okay.
The next one's being built up one layer at a time. I've got mirrors around me, I'm watching it happen.
Use the process of taking off a costume and putting on a costume as the process.
Physically and proverbially.
Yes.
I was talking about earlier today, I am a firm believer in clocking out. For your own sanity's sake, right?
Well,
Well, no, because I have played so many dark characters in dark stories, right? For months at a time, like it was 6 months shoots sometimes. So if you carry that home with you, back to the hotel if you're on location, back to home where your family lives, and you don't ever clock out of it, you will go nuts. And you've heard stories of actors doing just that.
How do you train or move for endurance, keeping these weird motions for a very long time over and over and over again?
When I know that a character is coming or certain muscle groups are going to be used, I do workouts that are specified to that character, right? Shoot day, much like is you know, take after take after take after take of the same scene. And you know what it's like here too, when you're going night after night after night after night, hour after hour after hour, and maybe you don't get as many breaks as I do between camera takes, right? You're on, you're on, you're on, you're on. So getting strong, if your character has a specific position like that you don't feel strong in, work the hell out of that position, right? So that means you walking around the house like this if you have to. You walking to the mailbox like this if you have to.
Anyone here ever wear a silicone mask here? Put your hands up, you know what I'm talking about. We just got done doing one thing where I wore the full body silicone suit and the silicone mask and the silicone hands and the silicone feet.
Silicone doesn't breathe, does it? Yeah.
You got your own ecosystem going on inside of there, baby.
Your own juices.
Oh yeah, your stew. What is your advice to an actor who is taking on a role that does have a difficult costume to wear?
It doesn't look good until it hurts. And it's kind of true.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, then it's probably looking very average. If you're uncomfortable, your neck hurts, your shoulders are killing you, your hips are out of joint, it's gonna look amazing.
You're working it.
The farther you get from human, the more uncomfortable you will be.
Okay.
Basic rule of thumb. So I've had legs go numb before. I've had my hip bones like squeezed together so much that I could feel my hips bending.
Right.
Just the excruciating pain.
I'd seen a quote from you, like, well, I was doing some of my research before today, and it was like, do your job and don't complain. That's the key to success.
That'll get you farther than your talent. I swear it.
Absolutely.
Watching all of your back episodes of what goes on here, I find your actors to be very amenable to this entire experience, and they're into it. They want to be here. They're not like, get this, it's hot. Does it have to be this hot? They're like, I want it to be hot. I want to sweat. I want to get in there. I love this, the attitude that comes with this place.
I got a thing.
You got a lot of things.
Oh my God, Doug Jones is just so awesome! So good!
There was one part when he was talking where I kind of like just felt myself leave my body, and I was like, am I really here right now?
He was a very good person, very fun, energetic, like us weirdos here, and it was a good way to start off the season.
This is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so I'm really grateful that I'm here and I work here.
This has been fantastic. I had no idea what I was in for. I had no idea all the world I was entering, and I love every minute of it, and I love everybody in it. Like especially this one. Are you kidding me? Keep inspiring the magic here, because something very magical happens in this building and out in the field. And remember, the pain is temporary. The memories that people leave here with are forever. Cut! Dougie, it's too sexy. It was too sexy.